And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gym into Crypto episode 519. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday. And of course, today is a bloodbath, people. It is a bloodbath. Top stories of the day: Christmas bonus. Maduro government promises 8 million Venezuelans half a Petro each. Venezuelan bolivars trading volumes on local bitcoins and hits new record high. No chance John McAfee halts crypto promo as US 2020 elections near. UK's oldest crypto exchange to delist Ethereum and focus solely on Bitcoin. And last but not least, now is a perfect time to get a blockchain job report show. But first and foremost, of course, I know people want to talk about these prices. It's definitely a bloody Tuesday. It's been a bloody week so far. But a sharp dip. Percentage-wise is actually what we're used to, but if you're actually just looking at the fiat dollar worth, then it can scare some people. Bitcoin is coming in at $6,708 today, down 5.27%. Ethereum's at $127, down 9.41%. XRP Ripple is at 19 cents, down 8.68%. Haven't seen it break that 20-cent mark in a very long time. Bitcoin Cash is at $185.46, down 9.64%. Litecoin's at $38, down almost 9%. EOS is at $2.30, down almost 9%. So as you can see, across the markets, everything is red. I forgot all about Tron these days. Tron is sitting at 1 cent, people, 0.01. Cardano at 3 cents. Neo at $8. IOTA, names you haven't heard of in a long time. It is literally a fire sale. There we go. Dogecoin is less than a penny, people. But yeah, right now looks to be a good time to go dumpster diving and shopping for some of these coins you may have been thinking about that have definitely taken a big dip. What's going on, Jizzy Mac, Alex Daly? Alex Daly, call it. How low are we going? You've been doing good on calling it. What's going on, crypto and culture? Tessa Hall, hugging the blockchain. Dexter Hand Sr. No, Alex Daly saying back to 3K with a question mark. I don't think it'll drop that low. I think if it drops to 4, we'll see a buying frenzy. But it remains to be seen as of now. There's definitely not as much interest in the Bitcoin market as we previously seen. And it doesn't look like that year-end bout is coming, that year-end roundup for another bull market. So we'll just have to continue to watch it. But top story of the day: Christmas bonus. Maduro government promises 8 million Venezuelans half a Petro each. This is crazy. It's almost like promising Americans that you'll print off $500 billion in the next month, right? Every president and government is going crazy right now when it comes to their currency. But it looks like Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced that this week the government will pay half a Petro to Venezuelan retirees and public workers as a Christmas bonus. With a total of 4.5 million retirees and 3.5 million public workers, Maduro said in a speech on December 15th that he expects to deliver half a Petro to more than 8 million Venezuelans this week. And that's going to be of course with a fixed value of $60 per Petro. And it looks like each Venezuelan will receive to be equivalent of $30. And it's estimated that the government will give out some $240 million worth of Petro. Again, every government's going crazy right now. This is a case study of why Bitcoin is important. You have two different governments, both of whom don't get along with each other, sit on different ends of the spectrum, that being the United States and Venezuela. And they're both announcing in the same week that in the next couple of weeks, one government, the United States, of course, will be printing $475 billion out of thin air. And President Nicolas Maduro will be giving out about $240 million out of thin air of his Petro tokens to his citizens. So again, case study of both of these of why Bitcoin is important, because you just can't go online and print out more Bitcoin or send it out to people out the blue. It actually needs to be mined, and of course that can all be traced and tracked through these computer algorithms. So again, not like regular fiat currency or a centralized digital currency like a CBDC. It's something that stands alone on its own, where everyone has a fair share or a fair shake to get some of that. So it looks like Maduro decreed that this week will begin, quote, a new stage of economic and social protection with the Venezuelan economy, referring to the delivery of half a Petro to Venezuelans. Again, so this is something he's been building for 2 years now. As you see in the article, we talked about this back in 2017 when he first thought about bringing the Petro around. People thought it would be impossible and it's crazy. It turns out he has somewhat brought it around. He's saying that he already has signed agreements with 50,000 merchants in the country to accept Petro as a form of payment with their establishments, as well as actually, back or doubling down on the fact that he has 5 billion barrels of oil support. The first thing he did, saying that those barrels of oil he's saving them only for Petro. And he also mentioned they have 30 million barrels of oil that are part of the direct physical material wealth that's assigned to Petro for whoever wants to claim it. So again, he's claiming that he has these barrels of oil to back the petrodollar. But again, we saw about a year or two ago when he was trying to get his gold from overseas, another country basically said no, they wouldn't do it. So same thing here with the oil. We know Venezuela has a lot of oil. It's probably why the U.S. has such an interest in the country as well. But can he actually back a Petro with a barrel of oil, especially when it comes to accountability? These are all the same people you're hoping to be accountable, but at the same time, they're the ones watching the money. So can you truly trust them, right? Again, another case study in Bitcoin. But we'll continue to watch President Maduro and see how this works out. I mean, if he does start giving it out, if people start using it, he's saying 50,000 different merchants now accept it. We'll see if he can force this market to be made, because again, this will also be something that other countries look at to say, can we do a CBDC successfully, or can a private company like Facebook launch Libra coin successfully with merchants and all that? So great way to see what happens. Yes, Alex Davis said we shall see. 2 weeks till 2020. Exactly. Not a long time to wait. Oh, that's a response to Jizzy Max said 3K, no chance. All right, hope not. What's going on? Dexter Hand Sr. saying checking in from the Dominican Republic Bitcoin exchange here on the island. That is what's up. Get them all to tune in. Jason Jamin said Venezuela is a victim of the USA and their own stupid leaders. Jason, I would have to say that is a pretty accurate statement. It's like a double whammy for those citizens. You got the U.S. literally picking you apart to get some of your oil, and you have your own leaders finishing the rest off to take the rest of the oil money, right? So it's crazy to see. We're actually going to stay in Venezuela here, as the Venezuelan Bolivar is now trading volumes on local Bitcoins as it hits new record high. Now, for those who pay attention, of course, local Bitcoins is no longer in the in crowd when it comes to the cryptocurrency industry. As everyone knows, they do a lot of reporting to government agencies now. But it looks like the volume of the Venezuelan Bolivar traded against Bitcoin on local Bitcoin's platform hit another all-time high last week amid rampant hyperinflation in the country. According to the Bitcoin statistics website CoinDance, Bolivar volumes on peer-to-peer exchange local Bitcoins exceeded $209 billion during the week ending December 14th. The all-new time high comes after a sharp volume spike in the preceding week ending December 7th. According to CoinDance, Bolivar volumes have been gradually breaking new records in December, surpassing the previous all-time high of 205 billion Bolivars. Now, here is the important part of the story. Even though the Bolivars are trading so high, trading volumes in Bitcoin are actually low. The data from CoinDance apparently provides more evidence of the continuing devaluation of the Venezuelan Bolivar, as the actual amount of Bitcoin traded last week was far from record-breaking. Now, this is an important article, or you can kind of see here, they're saying they saw an all-time high of 2,000 Bitcoin being traded in February of 2019. And this yearly low was at 433 Bitcoin traded in July. And of course, with the week ending in December, 637. So substantially low, even though the amount of Bolivars being traded are higher. Again, an important case study, because we may see the same thing happen when it comes to the USD, to dollars worth of fiat currency when it comes to Bitcoin. Because of that injection of 475 billion in the next month. And then of course, the injection of 275 billion about a month ago. So I think total right now, just off the top of my head, is 4, 6, 7. So almost 700 and something billion dollars of United States dollars were being injected into the economy, right? So If you start seeing these trading values when it comes to the US dollar increase, it'll be the same thing that's going on here with the Venezuelan bolivar, where you might see, hey, there's being, as you see all these stories, there being more dollars and more USD or more capital being pumped into Bitcoin every day from the American economy. Coinbase, Brian Armstrong gave that quote where it's like, hey, every month basically, or every 3 weeks, we're getting like $100 million or something crazy like that from institutional investors. But all that money doesn't mean anything if it's becoming diluted, which it is becoming even more diluted, and it doesn't equate the same amount of Bitcoin. So that's something we have continuously said from the beginning. 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. So again, just looking at the Venezuelan bolivar, if they are trading at all-time highs when it comes to their fiat currency, yet the amount of Bitcoin is still going lower, then that means their money is becoming worthless in regards to Bitcoin. Something that I would say to watch out for, because we might see it happen with the United States dollar as well when it comes to Bitcoin. Again, we're seeing the price of Bitcoin today at $6,700. But again, this 5% increase or decrease, nothing has changed with the technology of Bitcoin. That is the USD market that continues to fluctuate. So something to pay attention to if you're doing any type of trading or investing for sure. What's going on, Jamal J? Long time no see. Hope you're staying warm up there in New York. All right, no chance John McAfee halts crypto promo as U.S. 2020 elections near. It looks like a cryptocurrency entrepreneur John McAfee says he will stop promoting individual coins to focus on his presidential bid, but he already knows he will not win. He put this out in a series of tweets beginning on December 14th. McAfee said, he's no longer doing the crypto promos. If you remember, I like how he's calling it a crypto promo. McAfee was basically doing the crypto pump and dumps for a long time. Companies were paying him a ton of money to do it, where all he literally had to do was post a coin on Twitter that he may be interested in or buying and selling. And literally minutes later, you can see the price reflected on types of charts and graphs out there for different exchanges. And then he would basically drop the project a while later, right? So we know McAfee's been doing the pump and dumps. He wasn't the only one doing them. He slowed down on doing them after I think he started to get a little bit of harassment for some regulators out there. And then just the optics as well probably had him slow down. But he finally came out and said he's actually not going to do any more official crypto promos because he's going toward the presidential election and getting ready for that starting in January of next year full speed. He's being quoted as saying, people ask why I'm no longer doing blockchain promotions. It is very time consuming, those tweets, I'm sure. My presidential campaign will be starting in earnest in January, and I cannot do both. I am in no way abandoning crypto, only the task of promoting specific projects. Now, he did say that he doesn't think he's actually going to win the election. When talking about becoming the president, he said, I have no chance. I don't want to be. I merely want to promote crypto on the national stage. You got to be careful with that, John McAfee. The last guy who didn't really want to win and only promote some business interests, he actually won. So you never know. It might work out for John McAfee too, where he doesn't even want to win or plan to win. And next thing you know, he has some national crypto going. What if McAfee were actually to win and in like a industry first, wherever, everybody's thinking he's this big community guy. I'm just giving him a hard time. But what if he were to win and then launch a national McAfee coin? That would be hilarious. It would just be a centralized coin that he tricks everyone to jump on board to, and the whole time you're like, wait, what is going on here, right? We didn't expect you to win. But nonetheless, again, it will be refreshing to see McAfee in the presidential race, and not just for his love of cryptocurrency, but also because, of course, he doesn't do things, the normal way. He has an unorthodox style, and he kind of does things his own way with his own money. So again, it'll be pretty cool to see a candidate go in like that, not following the script and just doing what they want. Let's see. Jason Jamis said, do the Russians like John McAfee? Hey, I guess that determines if he wins or not, right? Jizzy Mac said, I'm pretty sure past videos of him freebasing during interviews going to hold him back. Hey, Bush Jr. did cocaine. Look, I don't know if anything's going to hold anyone back from the presidential seat these days. And then Jason Jamin said, so how are these wallets being hacked? Are they non-blockchain? Specifically, which wallets are you referring to? But some of the wallets in general that have been hacked are on centralized blockchains, or they have centralized points of access and that's where they're usually getting hacked from, not necessarily the wallet software themselves all the time. All right, UK's oldest crypto exchange to delist Ethereum and focus solely on Bitcoin. Wow, something that is very important because this is something that Ethereum, this is a challenge Ethereum could see facing in the future as well with all their upgrades coming out. It looks like CoinFloor, the UK's longest running cryptocurrency exchange, plans to delist Ethereum next month, citing an unclear future of hard forks and the need for onerous technical support for the second biggest coin by market cap. The company will also delist Bitcoin Cash, the splinter currency founded 2 years ago in the aftermath of Bitcoin's heated scaling debate. Starting January 3rd, CoinFloor will support only Bitcoin, whose 11th anniversary happens to fall on that day. I get it. And, good job for CoinFloor for keeping the only crypto they originally even needed, right? I get it. Of why you would add more. Bcash, Roger Ver, he was a force to be reckoned with when he brought Bcash out. He tried to make it work. He definitely was hitting up a lot of the smaller exchanges to try to get listed just so he can get that traction going and being listed on exchange. But the Ethereum catching me as a surprise, but I understand it. Now you can read this article, it's on CoinDesk, but this plan comes ahead of the launch of Ethereum 2.0, tentatively planned for early 2020. Which will begin the process of shifting the network away from the energy-consuming proof-of-work consensus mechanism to proof-of-stake, something that we've talked about. Of course, some people in the Ethereum community are with this move, saying proof-of-stake would be better. Of course, a lot of people are saying no. In the long term, this would be bad news for Ethereum. It would basically make it more vulnerable to attacks. But regardless, exchanges like CoinFloor are saying, hey, we're just dropping out of the Ethereum game because the trade volume isn't high right now. And the amount of support it would take to keep this thing updated doesn't make sense for the business. Again, something to pay attention to. We see other exchanges doing this. Now, I don't see big exchanges doing this that has the technical support to make this happen. But yeah, if you're a smaller exchange, 3 or 4 coins only, and Ethereum, which is going through this heavy upgrade, again, which from CoinFloor's point of view, they're saying that, hey, this thing might not even be all the way up and running like it should be for another couple of years at the very least, right? So they're saying during that time, they don't think it's going to be a highly tradable asset, or at least not one they can keep up with from the support side of things where the business makes sense. So they're dropping it. It's unfortunate to see. It's crazy to see this. Again, Ethereum is definitely one of the oldest and biggest cryptos out there as well, one of the biggest altcoins out there. But as I said, pay attention to this because if we see more exchanges start to drop Ethereum because of its upgrades and their technical support or inability to do it, of course, the next big question would be, what will the price do? Is it going to make this thing more expensive as more people will seek it out on different exchanges, or will it make that price drop as less people know about it or have access to actually buying it? So something to pay attention to. Jason said, why would anyone need Ripple? They could use stable coins or Bitcoin. That's the question we ask about a lot of coins in general. Why do they need them instead of just using Bitcoin? And usually just comes down to money play. Jizzy Max said Ethereum 2.0 is going to be a headache for exchanges. So, yep. So as you mentioned, hey, Madam Crypto, as well as in the article, Ethereum 2.0, it might actually, it might make the project go away a little bit. I won't say disappear because, of course, you have Vitalik and you have some great developers working on it. But as far as the public eye, if they're not seeing it, there's no way to really access it, especially if it's going through a lot of the upgrades. People might back away from it for a while until they see what happens next. All right, now is the perfect time to get a blockchain job report show. Job hunters can leverage the skyrocketing number of available blockchain jobs since fewer people are applying. This is a pretty basic article. Again, it just kind of goes into this report. You can find this on decrypt.co. But it looks like 2 studies show that blockchain job sector is an opportunity for prospective job hunters right now. They show that the number of available blockchain jobs is going up while few people are applying, giving job hunters the pick of the litter. Looks like LinkedIn released its emerging jobs report for 2020 yesterday. Throughout the trends for the coming year, they're saying one glaring omission stood out. Blockchain developers were no longer on the list. If you remember, the last couple of years, you started seeing blockchain buzzword pop up everywhere. Of course, blockchain devs were wanted like around the world globally, they're telling you can work from home. They'll pay you top dollar. They just need your help. Well, it looks like that job section disappeared from the list. According to Devin Banjari, LinkedIn's senior financial editor, the lack of developers picking up blockchain jobs was a direct consequence of Bitcoin's bear market. So they're basically saying as the price of Bitcoin dropped, the amount of blockchain developers being hired also dropped, at least the applications for it. So the only reason people knew about blockchain jobs to begin with was because the price of Bitcoin was high and everybody wanted to mimic Bitcoin. As soon as the price of Bitcoin dropped and that bear market started going down, of course, we saw the Google trend of Bitcoin dropping. No one's looking for it anymore, and thus no one was looking to become a blockchain developer. However, even though the price of Bitcoin is down, we've been in the bear market, and no one is searching blockchain developers anymore. The hiring, they're still hiring like crazy. They still need them. They still want them. And I suspect the same thing we saw happen in 2017 and 2018, and even this year in 2019, will happen again in the next couple of years once the bull market recommences again and everyone gets back in tune with Bitcoin and wants to become some type of blockchain developer. You'll see it happen again, whereas now is the perfect time to go after the job. When in reality, right now is the perfect time to go after a blockchain job. They are still hiring and paying top dollar. You still can work globally from home. And again, there's still new projects popping up every day. They're just not as popular since they aren't being searched. No one's looking for the next Bitcoin right now because to them, Bitcoin dropping from 20K when some people first saw it now to $6,000 is a big drop. They weren't here for the buildup. They don't understand this is just part of the process. So again, it looks like interest in the sector is declining. They're blaming it on the price of Bitcoin for this phenomenon. Although, as it says here, the blockchain sector has actually grown by 26% since last year. That's great. That's crazy. So it's grown by 26%, yet less people are actually applying to it. And again, we talk about blockchain jobs for the government, which has a history of not paying people top dollar because they are service volunteer jobs. But in the blockchain sector, for even the United States government, they're paying people well over $250,000 to come work for the government. So blockchain is going to be around, people. This is the future. Again, it's like the internet. The technology is not going anywhere. So these jobs, 26% on this year, I will be curious to know how big the industry grows next year. It's going to continue to grow. The technology is continuing to get better, and people are still going to need blockchain developers. So if you've been interested in doing any type of work in that sector, especially on the development side, again, I keep telling people, I've been saying this since 2017, learn the code. It took me a little less than a year to learn the code. People learn the code, and you can go after one of those jobs, change your life, maybe. We'll see. Other than that, that is the show for the day. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure this is the Crypto Cody shirt. Secure that bag, people. I know the price is dropping, but this is actually the best time to buy because the last thing you will want to see is this time next year the price is being double, triple, quadruple, and you saying, boy, I wish I would have got some at 6,700. Or at least some of that 19 cent ripple, right? If they ever decide to hit another home run, that is definitely a steal of the day. Other than that, like I said, thanks for watching. Make sure you smash that like and share. Give us a rating on one of these podcast platforms, iTunes Podcast, Spotify, Google Play Music, or iHeartRadio. Other than that, I will see you all tomorrow. That's the show for today. Cheers.